Ru's first studio album, appropriately titled Supermodel of the World, came in June, and the single went on to become one of 1993's best-selling dance records. Suddenly, Ru was a household name across the country, something he credits to an appearance on the Arsenio Hall show that year. Keep watching this video to find out how RuPaul built a drag empire. The mantra: we're all born naked, and the rest is drag. Some may view the slogan from RuPaul's Drag Race as nothing more than a creative pun aimed to emphasize the significance of the competition, but for RuPaul, the man behind the catchphrase, it means much more. It's a mantra that's led the multi-hyphenate personality to his bountiful empire, consisting of a wildly successful reality TV franchise, 14 studio albums, 3 books, a podcast, an annual drag-themed convention, a line of candy bars, and his first lead role in a scripted series that he just so happened to co-create alongside Sex and the City and the comeback alum Michael Patrick King with Netflix's just-released AJ and the Queen, not to mention countless film and TV appearances in other folks' creations, as he's popularized an art form that exists to defy the very nature of the mainstream. It serves as a beacon for a career that, to a young child born RuPaul Andre Charles in San Diego, California on November 17, 1960, appeared not only fully inevitable, but also not impossible. Do famous people always feel it in their bones? I knew I would become well known and a star, but I also realized I couldn't move to Los Angeles right at once. As a result of reading Andy Warhol's interview magazine, I was aware that the only way I could transition into mainstream stardom and enter Hollywood was to move to New York and become a downturned superstar. I'm telling you, I was 12 years old when I first realized this, Ru said in a 2016 interview with Entertainment Weekly. So I relocated to Atlanta when I was 15 years old, attended the School of Performing Arts, spent 6 years working for my family's business selling used automobiles, and then I launched my act. And that performance, developed in the South before Ru tried to make it big in New York, was far different from what the public has come to expect from the most well-known drag performer in the world. But it nevertheless adhered exactly to what the iconoclast has always stood for. I made the decision to increase my drag work as a way to poke fun at the drag scene as it existed and the preppy Reagan 80s anti-disco narrative. It was a chance to convey some of the Warhol pleasure while also making a point, he told the magazine. Ratty wigs, military boots, and smeared lipstick. Drag had a rich history at this time and a language developed around it. However, we broke all regulations by breaking in. Ru's moved to LA. Ru started working on his original drag persona, undercover model Star Booty, and a more female approach to the act after an unfortunate transfer to New York in 1984 led to his return to Atlanta after only 6 months. When I started wearing drag, straight men and women would exclaim, "Bait? Damn!" I could sense it. I'd never experienced it before. I understood my strength, and I was aware that I needed to finish a lot of work wherever I was, Ru said. I created, produced, and assembled shows. I produced around 16 Star Booties, trashy tiny VHS videos. I was given the freedom to create that type of material in Atlanta. Between 1982 and 1992, I spent those 10,000 hours that Malcolm Gladwell writes about needing to master something. Putting in long hours, yet without earning a penny. I produced books. At the club, I would have a postcard stand. In order to earn the credits for those 10,000 hours, I would do anything. He also met Fenton Bailey and Randy Barbato, 2 up-and-coming musicians who would later play a significant role in Ru's life and career in Atlanta. When we first met him, we had posters of him with the slogan "RuPaul is everything" we'd pasted on them. Because it was so symbolic in so many ways, I frequently think of that particular incident, Bailey said of those early days. From the start, it conveyed the core message of Ru, and it was immediately recognizable. It was impossible to ignore, comparable to seeing a UFO. This was something you were aware of. He was a star. When Ru came to New York in 1987, he immediately started working as a go-go dancer, earning a reputation among the club kids and landing gigs as merely RuPaul at Suzanne Barge's events. However, nothing turned out the way that Ru had hoped, and a year later, when he turned 28, he had already moved out of the city and into Los Angeles, where he slept on his younger sister's couch before coming back to San Diego and his mother's house, catching the big break. Ru was officially proclaimed Queen of Manhattan by a panel of club owners and promoters in 1989 after receiving his first taste of national notoriety from a prominently featured role in the B-52's 1989 music video for Love Shack. And when my reign came to an end in September 1990, I was prepared to advance, Ru remarked. So I went to Randy and Fenton, and in the beginning of 1991, they began to manage my career. A Woman on the Street segment on Bailey and Barbato's UK show Manhattan Cable came first, followed by the single Supermodel You Better Work. Rejected by most places around town, eventually, Monica Lynch at Tommy Boy Records, known primarily for rap and hip-hop, sparked to it, and the track was released in November 1992.